Hello and welcome to the Green Room. We're sitting here on Mother's Day with Amy Ford, who just knocked it out of the park with your message this morning. So practical and such a great reminder of who we are to be as the church in this world. So thank you for being here.
Yes,
And
I love being here.
We've been wanting you to come and speak here at Zion City for a long time, so I'm so glad this worked out.
Me too. I've loved being here, and all your people, they've been so nice.
Thank you. Thank you. We've loved what Embrace Grace has brought to Zion City and just the opportunity that it gives people to really serve others. And it's been such a unifying group to be able to bless moms. And we have been blown away at the generosity of people and to be able to give them a place to be generous, more than just,
financial. It's like practical gifts.
Very practical.
Meeting a practical needs.
Yes, and it's been so great to watch even some of these men, these big burly men that come walking in with all of these baby gifts.
Love
And
it.
they've been in Target or Walmart or wherever shopping in the baby section. And it's been so great to just watch this happen.
Yeah,
So,
everybody get involved.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. So we every Sunday we'll put up a code that if people have questions about the message that they can text in. And so we want to take just a couple of minutes and ask a couple of these questions of you. So let's start with this first one. I should have had my phone open so I could have it. Here we go. The first question is, why doesn't God get offended when we ask him to prove himself to us?
Well, I've seen it happen over and over again where he wants all the glory.
Yes.
But he wants people to believe in him. And so I don't believe he gets offended at all. Like he answered my prayer.
Yeah.
So whoever asked that heard my story about,
Yes.
God, I need you to make it really evident as far as starting Embrace Grace, but then also the stories about the girls just asking like, God, are you real? I need you. If so, I don't want to think it. I want to know it. So
Right.
do something bigger so that I know you're real. And he wants to answer our prayers.
Right.
And really, he's showing us all the time. And it's just a matter of sometimes we're too busy or we like kind of over analyze it or think, oh, that's probably coincidence. And that probably, when really he's doing these little God winks to us all the time
Yes.
where he wants to show like, hey, I'm here. Hey, I see you. Hey, I love you. Whether it's using his people or however he wants to do some cool miracle in our life. Like he wants us to believe and know in him and then be able to go and tell someone else, you know, about that as well.
Yeah. I think it just lines up with his character.
Yeah.
God has always been interested in showing us how much he loves us. He's always done tangible things.
I'm so glad.
And, he sent his son. All of the things that God has done historically, he wants to continue to do so that we are drawn to him. And he's such a big God. He's not offended at us because he understands that we are human.
Yes, our brains can only
Right.
comprehend so much.
Right.
And so he wants to help us.
Yes. And I think his attention to detail sometimes blows me away.
I know.
For you to share your story about like, I needed $1,000 and to have someone walk up
The next day.
and write a check
Right.
the next day. And obviously, our story, it took us 7 years to get pregnant. And so there were a lot of Mother's Day Sundays that
Or
were
it was
just
hard.
terrible for me personally. And so when you shared that she had never been able to conceive, I thought, how sweet is God
Right.
to to allow her to be a part of so many children's
The
lives.
mother of many.
The mother of many.
How amazing. And that, yes, that he got to see. And in such a beautiful way. I could have just called her and told her, hey, did you know? But like,
Right.
no, the timing that she messaged me the day before a big event where it's like she could literally see it.
Yeah.
Was. And all these moms just being so emotional and receiving all of this love from the church that she got to witness that, I'm sure is a moment that she will never forget.
Right. And the fact that God let her see just all of this detail, even when she wasn't asking.
Right.
How much bigger is he to handle it when we are asking?
Totally.
So I think that's just the character of God. One other question that we had, I felt embarrassed this morning. So if you didn't see service, every Mother's Day since 2021, we have invited our church to tangibly bless single moms, especially those that are raising children, a lot of times without any support.
Right.
And so we have taken the opportunity on Mother's Day to ask our single moms, and it is kind of embarrassing. It's embarrassing to receive.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
And so we ask them to stand, and we give our church body an opportunity to just bless them with whatever they have.
I was crying.
Yeah.
Like, that is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Like,
Yeah.
to see the church to say, I see you and we're in this with you.
Right.
No single mom walks alone.
Right.
Like, how beautiful.
Right. And so one of the things that we say in that is if you are a single mom with children under 18 living in your home, because obviously we want to make sure that not only the single mom is cared for, but those children that have needs as well. We want this to be a marked moment, even in that kid's life, of understanding that God sees them.
Yes.
God
Look
saw
what
their
happened to
mom.
my mom.
Yes.
Yes.
And so that's been important. But this mom said, I'm a single mom with adult children who have disabilities, who aren't working yet. They aren't under 18, but it is like they are teenagers in their minds. Should I have stood up? I'm struggling financially. And that breaks my heart that you didn't feel like you could because you were embarrassed. But please know that Zion City has an amazing benevolence program, and if you will just call the office, they'll get you in touch with a pastor or a ministry leader that can help you to meet those needs financially. So please hear our heart in that we want to bless you, and just because you didn't have the opportunity to receive that blessing today, Mother's Day, please reach out because we want to minister to you. So
also I want to say,
yeah.
I'm praying too that there's going to be some kind of cool God story here where
Absolutely.
maybe someone is going to walk up, total stranger on the street. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm praying and believing for a cool God story here that
Yeah.
you're going to have one to share of how God did. Even maybe it's through Zion City, maybe it's through somewhere else.
Right.
That you didn't stand up, but that God still sees you.
Yes.
And he still wants to meet your needs.
Yes.
And that he's going to do it in a really cool way.
Yes. Okay, I think we have time for one more question. Is that right? We do?
As much time as you need. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. All right.
Cut that out, though.
Yeah, cut.
The whole interaction.
Yes. Okay. You want to tackle this first one?
Sure.
Okay. So this person asked, like the woman with the issue of blood, I believe in healing, but nothing has happened. I've spoken life over my body, and I am still not healed. What am I doing wrong? Is it not God's will to heal everyone?
That's a really tough question. And some of this is like things that when we get to heaven someday, we're going to ask, that it's
Yeah.
like we don't know really why. But what we do know is that God uses everything, good and bad, and he turns all things for good for those that love him. So like even with the story that I shared of the woman that never was able to conceive on her own, it didn't look, I'm sure she prayed many prayers. And for whatever reason, that wasn't answered in the way that she had hoped, you
Right.
know, or had thought that God
Right.
would answer it. But he answered it in a different way where God gets all the glory with that.
Right.
Like there are things that sometimes we walk through that are really hard that may not make sense to us, but God is so much bigger and he's weaving our things that we go through, weaving our stories, how we respond to certain situations. It's a ministry to people. I have been so ministered to by some of my friends that are walking through extremely hard things of like, look at her faith, look at what God is doing in her life, like the miracles even in the middle as we wait for our big miracle. There are so many things that God wants to teach us along the way. And so, but that's definitely one of those things is like, we'll find out someday, you know, why. It could be a timing thing. It could be just, you know, that it's not about us, you know,
Yeah.
that he's doing something bigger than what we could ever imagine.
Yeah. And what we do know is
He's
eventually, whether this side
Right.
of this life or in heaven, we will be perfected.
Right.
In
This
heaven.
life is just a vapor.
Yes.
It is a tiny little flash
Yes.
compared to eternity.
Yes.
With him.
And that's not to minimize what
The
people
hard
would go
things,
through.
for sure.
Because going through it is really just that. It's going through it, and
It's
it's
hard.
painful and it's hard, and we weep with those that are going through that. But we also stand with you and say, you know, we'll believe for your healing,
Yes.
because that's what we do. We believe.
Yeah, for
we
sure.
believe that it is God's will for everyone to be healed.
Yes.
And we know that God will do it in his time.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to walk with those that are hurting.
Yes,
which
for
is
sure.
really even what Embrace Grace is born out of,
Mm-hmm.
is just walking with people as they're hurting.
Through hard that stuff,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. And rejoicing with them, because every child is a gift.
Right. And even in that hard stuff, he's doing some miracles.
Yes.
That are pretty, even like on the leading side of it, like I say all the time, we have front row seats to miracles. We
Yes.
are watching, even as they walk through these super hard circumstances.
Yeah.
How God is doing miracle upon
Yes.
miracle in their
Yeah.
life. It's just beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us here in the green room. Thank you again, Amy,
Thank
for being
you.
here
Thanks
and
for
bringing
having
your
me.
wonderful husband with you.
Yes.
And we look forward to having you again.
Yes. Anytime. I'll be here.
All right. Awesome. We'll see you next week here in the green room.